Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to tell you, plain and simple, why you should be watching Windbreaker. It is one of the greatest animes ever. I mean that, but at the same time, kind of joking. All right, we've only had one episode, and I will warn, we will be spoiling things that happen in that first episode to kind of give you an idea of the series itself. And yeah, neither of us have read the manga, so we don't know what the season's going to entail. But the first episode was so good that we decided we needed to come on here, make a video, and tell you that you should also be watching it. So a little about what Windbreaker is pretty much you have this town that was just completely, it was just dangerous. It was completely overrun with gangs and criminals and people fighting and people stealing and destroying property. And to everyone's surprise, the school there that's full of delinquents decided to protect the town. They decided it is their town and that if someone's going to mess with people, they're gonna have to deal with them. So when actually these like criminals and fighters and gangs come in and start doing damage, start messing with people, they call the kids at the school, not the police, because they handle business. So that's where our main character comes in. He's a kid who's good at fighting. He likes fighting, but he's kind of been told that he's a piece of shit his whole life, pretty much. He has a different look to him. His hair's not dyed, neither is contacts in his eyes. That's just how he looks. He naturally has two different colors for his hair and two different color eyes. So people like pick on him for that. People, think less of him because he likes to fight, and he's been told so many horrible things that he starts to believe it. So now he comes to a town where he's trying to be the biggest scumbag. He's trying to be the king of that school, and he ends up finding out that the school is a bunch of heroes, that people actually like them and appreciate them and are grateful for them. And it is pretty hard for him to accept that. But by the end of the episode, he ends up realizing that and ends up kind of loving it, that he can come to this place, he can fight, and he actually can help people and like be a good person, because that's who he is, what he wants to be. It's just everyone else kind of put him in this role of you have to be trash. So it seems like it's gonna be an amazing anime. That was the synopsis, but Blake, what was your reaction to that first episode?
I was hype. I love Windbreaker. I thought it was a great first episode. Um, we touched a little bit on it in the podcast, but like Sakura seems like like you said, a really good guy who's been kind of trashed on his whole life, told he was worthless, maybe because of his appearance. He's got, two different colored eyes and different colored hair. I think he looks awesome.
So sick.
Just the whole general design of everybody, like they really look sick. The school jackets are badass. Like the art for everything, really, really cool. So like Sakura seems like a really good guy despite all that, and I feel like a huge part for him growing up and like developing his character development maybe is being in a place where he's accepted like this town despite all the fights and vagrants that they deal with. He can still be himself. He can fight and do what he's good at, and people will appreciate him for it. Because as we saw in the first episode, he's not very good with affection and gratitude. It's definitely foreign to him.
He's not really good with the ladies, but let me tell you, boys, if you
Yeah.
want some waifus in an anime, this anime has got it. We have Tachibana, and I'll be screaming her name from the rooftops. She is one of the best waifus because there's no like fan service. She's not some dumb girl who's just throwing herself at the main character. She's actually a really sick character. She's a ton like Kugasaki from Jujutsu Kaisen, except she's actually getting screen time. Kugasaki is awesome. She's such an amazing character, one of the best written female characters. But then they decided we're gonna ignore the main characters and just make it all about Gojo. And then we're gonna then talk about Kugasaki, but then we're gonna kill her. So fun. So at least in this anime, we have Tachibana, who is just like her, who has that same kind of vibe to her, and also has that same kind of relationship with her main character. Except she's actually getting screen time. This seems like it's going to be an amazing anime. As you can see, the characters on the overlay here, they look sick. They give off that Tokyo Revengers kind of vibe. They just look like amazing, badass people who have some really interesting stories. So I cannot wait to learn more about them. We haven't really been introduced to any of them, but I mean, like, they definitely look sick. So I cannot wait for that. It seems like it's going to be we talked about it on the podcast, but it seems like it's going to be an amazing anime where it's that perfect mix of, okay, we're going to have a ton of action, we're going to have those fight scenes, and they're going to be amazing, because we had a couple of them in the first episode, and they did not disappoint. But it's not all going to be about fighting. It's not all going to be about him getting stronger, because he already is pretty strong. One of the things I don't like about the underdog shonen kind of template is that I love that kind of story, but I hate how it's like a competition of how weak and pathetic can we make our main character, and then how fast can we turn them into a god. And that's what the anime is about. And that is cool, but then it gets boring. You know, now we have an anime where we have a character that's already pretty strong. He needs to get stronger, and he will, but it's not going to be the whole focus. You know, more of the anime can breathe and kind of grow and kind of shine. You know, we can have him surrounded by some really cool characters and have them get that attention, have them have those cool interactions. We can have, you know, Tachibana. I mean, the more episodes she's in, the better. But we can have, you know, character development come in. It's like Villain Saga, where it was just, you know, all fighting in season one and then all character development in season two. It seems like Windbreaker is going to be that perfect blend. So it just seems like it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal anime. I talked about on the podcast how I think it's going to be one of my favorite animes because of that reason. I feel like look at Demon Slayer, when you look at Jujutsu Kaisen, when you look at Solo Leveling, those are all phenomenal animes. Animes that I really enjoy, but they all have one glaring thing about them that is just kind of like, wish that was different. You know, I wish Jujutsu Kaisen wasn't all about Gojo. I wish Demon Slayer was a little bit more organized. I wish Solo Leveling had something more than just, you know, leveling. Even though that is the name, you know, I feel stupid to complain about that, but like that's all it is about him in 12 episodes being literally the weakest hunter to now he's like an S rank. He's literally bordering a god, you know, in just 12 episodes. So it seems like Windbreaker, so far, it's only been one episode. It doesn't have one of those kind of flaws. We have a character that's balanced, right, when it comes to power and kind of, you know, more to offer the anime. We have a bunch of really great characters. You know, I just hope that the actual story development is good, and I hope the story itself is going to be good instead of just aimless kind of fighting. And it seems like we're going to have that because it seems like they're going to be helping out the community, but also the power struggle in the school of who's kind of that top dog. And it seems like he wants it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think you brought up a good point too with like the pacing and wanting it to like be that good balance of like development but also like keeping you entertained, and obviously we like the fights and the whole delinquent aspect. I think another thing too that I hadn't thought of previously was for one episode we really only meet Sakura and Tachibana.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really get into their backstories at all or really any depth to the characters, but it was still a really exciting episode. You learn a little bit about the town and kind of the relationship with the crime and theft and all that stuff you had mentioned, but also the school who are looked at as delinquents on the outside, but they're actually protecting the town. They're pretty good people overall. So you kind of have that like that two sides to it, what they're doing outside of school and the power struggle inside the school, which I think is sick. I think there's plenty of room too for like the main character to shine, but also like on the side characters, you can develop them and have like a world where it's not just like you said based off one guy, or it's always up to Gojo and Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I think Sakura is a badass character. I think he'll be great, but it'll be also kind of like Tokyo Revengers. You had other really good characters who were important and integral to like the story moving forward. So I'm really excited for that, and I think it'll be good. I think the pacing will really be good.
Yeah, and I think there's also going to be some like kind of mystery to it that we haven't really kind of seen because Tachibana kept saying like, dude, you're not going to do crap in that school. And he's like, look, why? I'm plenty strong. I can easily do it. And he's like, yeah, you're a good fighter, but you need more than that to succeed at that school. You need more than that to rule that school. So that's what's going to be really interesting is when we get into that school. Because that's the thing. The first episode, phenomenal. But it left so many question marks, like you said. We haven't even met like really any of the other characters. We have no idea for the backstory. We have no idea what the actual story is really going to be about. We just know the two sides of it of helping the community and also the power struggle that's going to be in the school. But we don't know what that power struggle is going to look like in the school. Because Tachibana is saying that like you need allies, you need more than just fighting skills in order to succeed. This whole idea of it being, the battle of the delinquents that he thinks it is not the case at all. And if we learned anything from the first episode, things aren't as it seems because the school of delinquents are the ones that are the heroes, the peacekeepers. So when we finally get into that school and kind of see how that dynamic's going to be, it's going to be sick. When we meet the other characters, it is going to be sick. So there's so many avenues and so many different ways where this thing can really be awesome. Of course, I'm getting super ahead of myself with how much I'm hyping it up and how much I love it, considering we just had one episode and I know nothing else about it. But I'm super excited. And I really hope that the story delivers because if it does, like I said, I really think it can outshine all the other animes, at least for me.
I think it'll be huge. You have like all the reasons, like you said, you're hyping it up, but you have all the reasons to justify it. Cloverworks is a great studio. They've put out really good stuff. Maybe not in the same vein. Like Dress Up Darling was huge. Obviously, like the animation and like colors and designs and outfits and all that stuff were like important. I think you get that aspect in this, although it's not cosplaying, Marin. We're, badass school delinquents. But like, I think that'll be huge. People will like that. It's engaging for like art and stuff, which that's basically all my Twitter is like anime art and VTubers. So like, I feel like that stuff's huge too, but people will definitely catch on. And I think if the pacing's good, like we had touched on it a bit in the pod, like Solo Leveling was kind of slow to start. It took, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes to like really get going and for Jinwoo to like progress forward. I think that'll be a little better with Windbreaker. But it'll be cool to see how they like build the world and like kind of expand with the little information we're given in just one episode.
Yeah, like again, that's been the highlight of this kind of video is that like we've only gotten the one episode. We have no idea how it's going to progress or kind of what's going to go on. But like I said before, like when you get a start of an anime season, the animes that start off really hot, they're the ones you got to be scared of because like for me, it was the Beast and the Witch that started off really hot, and I was like, dude, I kind of like this more than Solo Leveling right now. I mean, I know that's going to change because of all the hype Solo Leveling is, and no one's really talking about the Beast and the Witch, and that's exactly how it was because it just kind of burnt out, and it was like, I nearly dropped it, so Windbreaker seems like it's gonna be a different story because it seems like a higher end, higher level kind of anime. It seems like the manga is very successful as well. So I love to see how the story is gonna progress and kind of go. And I'm just super excited about that. With when it comes to animation studio though, how is Cloverwork kind of usually? Because speaking of My Dressed Up Darling, we haven't seen a season 2 in forever. So it's one of those things where it's like, say what you want about Mappa, about how, rushed some of their jobs are, how they take on way too much of a workload. They're also the first ones to be like, yep, we need a next season immediately. We need that movie pronto. So it's like, I don't really know about the studios. Is that a good thing? Because they're going to do great animation. They're going to do a phenomenal job. They're a big established studio. But do we have to worry about like time on another season or something like that?
That would be my luck, dude. Like, you get super invested and they do a great
Mm-hmm.
season one, and then it's just like, we don't really have time for season two.
Like,
You're probably right. I guess like how much demand there is for it is probably important, but I want to say there's, I don't know, like a dozen or so manga volumes. Like there should be plenty of content, I would think, to release. If you were to do a season two, I haven't looked into it. Try not to spoil it, but it seems like they got plenty to play with. As far as like time goes with Cloverworks, I don't know. I feel like they do a lot of niche stuff too. They don't really go for like the home runs always, but their animation and like very
so
like
good.
fluid. Oh, dude, it's so good.
So
I love
good.
that stuff. So hopefully we get a bang in season one, but more important, season two.
Yeah, the
You're right. I always
continuation.
thought that about Mappa too. It'll be like you'll read an article about how they have like too much workload, and it's like, oh, they're picking up season 2 and 3 of like these two different animes. Like they
Yeah,
always deliver though. Mappa always
like
delivers.
literally the whole highlight of the latest Jujutsu Kaisen season was oh they had no like half the scenes were 30% done because they have like no workers and it's horrible. Yet the second to last episode dropped, they dropped a trailer for the next season, and it's like wait, wait what? You couldn't even
They're going
complete this
hard,
one.
dude.
But yeah, so that's kind of a case here. Hopefully, we're gonna see continuation. Literally, this anime is so good though that like this will make me start the manga if they do not come out with the next season immediately. I'm kind of hyped though because we were talking, I think, on the podcast, not necessarily here, about how for people to find animes, it's really from clips because that's what kind of gets us that little sneak piece, that little taste, that kind of gets us interesting and kind of forces us to watch it. And I think that this anime just farms those clips with these fight scenes, with these little looks. I mean, I don't know because my Instagram kind of reel is just filled with Tachibana.
Nice.
I'm not even
Sweet.
kidding. It's all just Tachibana. But I'm assuming that the fight scenes are eventually gonna get clipped and kind of get put in there, and all those little moments. So I think and I hope that this would really start to take off, and we see a lot more hype around it, a lot more talk about it, because it definitely deserves the love. But it is in tough competition this anime season, which is why we're making this video. You guys gotta watch this. It is seriously so good. Windbreaker. I'm gonna stake my pride and my honor on it by saying that it is, in my opinion, going to win some awards this year. I hope at least one, at least one.
I hope so too, man. It has a lot of promise, and like I had said previously, we didn't get too much information in episode one, but like it was enough for me to be hooked. I thought it was really, really well done. There's a lot to love early, and I think the pacing will be good. So we'll be interested, and we'll have an exciting season one. So If you're looking for something to check out, I don't see why you wouldn't check out Windbreaker. I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, especially because I feel like it is kind of slept on. Because here's the thing, is that there's a lot of new anime that came out this season. And the problem is hype can be a bitch. Because the thing with Solo Leveling is Solo Leveling was like the most hyped anime of the season, but it didn't hit number one on the charts. And that's because the people that are hyping it up, the people that read the manga, the people that are so diehard about it, they're kind of hard to please. You know what I mean? And they're the driving force of those types of animes. So it's like when you have an anime that's hyped up, it has a certain expectation that it needs to hit, even though it is phenomenal, even though it's flawless. It just didn't live up to what you imagined in your head, and that could be lethal. Then we have Kaiju number 8. That's another great new anime coming out. That's getting a lot of hype and love from Crunchyroll and all these other avenues. Windbreaker is kind of that sleeper, kind of that one where I'm not seeing a whole lot of talk about it, which means that it can slide in there, and if done properly, if it catches wind, it can be an anime that can just drive to the front and really make a contender for new anime of the year, just simply because it just is one of those animes that came out of nowhere and just dominated, kind of like how we saw last anime season with Frieren. You know what I mean? That's an anime that was kind of slept on, no one really knew about, but then it caught wind, and then boom, it's just an anime that people were like, amazing, flawless. So I definitely think that this is an anime that can really surprise a lot of people. I think it's an anime that can hype up and live up to the hype. Just simply because it's been so slept on. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys check it out. It really is an amazing anime. It has so many great moments, badass fight scenes, great character designs. I talk a lot about Tachibana, but I mean, look at these characters. They look so sick, and you can tell the personalities are going to match. The story seems really great. I feel like it has everything you need. It just checks all the boxes. So I hope you guys enjoy it and hope you guys check it out. And got anything else to say, Blake?
I was gonna say I put whatever anime episodes are like 24 minutes, 22 minutes. I put that into far worse avenues of time at TV shows and the other animes. I promise you, if you check out Windbreaker, I think you'll be impressed for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, it's only 24 minutes. Just check out episode
Yeah.
one. Listen, if you've already seen it, let us know in the comments down below what you think. Now, if you're going to see it, let us know comments below what you think of it. Okay. we will.
Absolutely.
I will respond to all your guys' comments. We can talk about Windbreaker until the end of the season, and then on. I mean, I'll talk about this anime forever. So just let us know down below what you guys think of it. If you're enjoying it, if you're not enjoying it, what you want to see out of it, what you wish it had more of. But that's it, guys. Hopefully, you guys check it out. It is definitely gonna be worth your time. And peace.
Peace.